students, and they come from the stellar parents and the administration and teachers and educators. I thank you to all the educators that supported this movement with displaying your t-shirts and making sure that you all are visible and talking to the parents as they come into the schools and around our neighborhoods. So with that said, I am looking forward to making some wonderful strides here in Southfield. I'm pleased to be retained, and I thank you so much for all of your support.
Well, the board president said it very well. Thank you. But I felt compelled to say it myself, because I remember a few years back when Dr. Green first started, she had sat down with each trustee and asked, well, what is your vision for the district? And it's where we are right now. As an alum of the district, of having a father of 3 children who came through the district, and still have 2 kids in the district. When I look at other, districts neighboring, they have a lot more than we offer our students. And the young lady into the table said it best to me. We have one of the best high schools in the state, but our infrastructure doesn't match up to the academics. So now it's time to make that happen for those students, because the students are deserving of all we're trying to do and more. So again, I just want to say thank you. I don't want to steal the board president's thunder. Congratulate the retention of my peer, as well as for the new trustees who are going to be on board. So I'll let her take care of all the rest of that. But it's also a good time because in about almost 40 years, I'm not trying to get too politically on you all, but that was my major in undergrad, was political science. And for the last 40 years, the Democrats have not had control of House, Senate, and have a governor who are all Democrats.
I'm not wrong if I
But the main benefit is that the governor has invested the most money in education that we've had in years. So now, having seen all the things that have been happening throughout the country, it makes local politics that much more important. So hopefully, by the shifts that we're seeing within our state, that's just going to be more of the cherry on top of the bond to benefit our students. So stay tuned. For those who didn't vote for the bond, just keep your eyes open just for all the changes that's coming. We hope to convince you that you made a wrong decision. But for those who did vote yes, again, I'll say thank you, and let's move forward.
I would like to take the time out. I see our 2 newly elected trustees that will be getting sworn in January. Ms. Jillian Holloway, resident of Lathrop Village, congratulations. And Mrs. Talisha Belk, resident of Southfield. She has babies in the district as well. And I think that both will be a great asset to this board, since the minute that we saw their names on the ballot and I made the calls just to say, hey, if you have any questions, they've both been extremely receptive. They've shown up, they've asked questions, and they've been involved. So congratulations, and we can't wait to work with you. I'm sorry, Trustee Smith-Thomas.
Thank you. Yes, so I do have to report out on the annual leadership conference. I attended the week of October 20th in Traverse City. I did have an enjoyable time there. The weather was beautiful, which made it even more enjoyable. Along with completing the advocacy certificate, I also earned the data specialty certificate and the Master Diamond Award. So for the newly elected trustees, continuing education, attending the conferences, this will be a charge that you will also have to make sure you're keeping top priority as well. It was great to network with trustees from across the state. I've been elected for now going into my 9th year, and I have seen the shift and the change of those who are elected to this local seat. And it brings me a lot of pride, a lot of joy to see that change that's happening, to see that continued commitment, and to network with them when we do come together for these conferences. And it also just reminds me that we are all dealing with some similar challenges across the state. And when we can come together and just collaborate and talk, it really reminds you of your service, your leadership, and what the charge is that you have taken an oath for. So I participated in a board leadership case study, which was actually pretty cool because we were all put into mini boards of 7. We were across the state. We were given 4 different scenarios, and we had to act them out as if we were a real board making that decision for this district that we were governing in that time. But some of the major takeaways from that, for participating in that session, for me were just being reminded to challenge the idea and not the person. A lot of the work we do is very personal. It's a lot of passion behind it. And sometimes you do leave the table forgetting to challenge the idea and feeling, maybe even personally feeling attacked. And so then you kind of release that same energy. But just to be reminded to challenge the idea and not the person. That in order to do this, it requires respect, respecting the expertise of others, respecting the experience and the commitment and the service of others, and the history and perspective they can bring to whatever the problem is that perhaps you weren't privy to because you didn't sit in the seat at that time, or maybe you just weren't paying attention. That wasn't something that was on your radar as a parent. But if that person has that information or insight, being able to respect that, being willing to listen for the sake of listening and not responding just to respond. I think sometimes we listen to respond, but it helps to create a safe space when you can pause and just listen to others, and listen for the true intention. If your true intention is to build trust and collaboration. And then another major takeaway from that session was being willing to believe the best intent first. Again, this is passionate work that we do. And so if we can, at the end of the day, just believe the person has the best intent, I think it helps with building that trust and seeking to understand. Another session I attended was moving from self-care to we care, planning for staff wellness in the right way. Some of the takeaways: teachers are not okay, even though we need them to be. And really thinking about and reflecting on what that means. From the board level, we create policies. And one thing, because I am an educator outside of this role, I get the beauty of experience in the classroom and the buildings, as well as the policy. And I know that sometimes there's not an alignment. And so I've been charged in my service to always be mindful about when we are creating those policies, how will it play out and how will it show up in the classrooms, at the classroom level. So especially in this space of teacher shortage, staff shortage, really making sure that as we're creating these policies, as we're moving into a new year, calendar year, moving into a new organization, potential organization to handle our policies, that we really do that thinking about the wellness, true wellness for our teachers and our staff. Ensuring the whole child partnerships for social emotional health. Again, something I've experienced personally, and perhaps some teachers and admin in the audience can relate to this. Sometimes we have these partnerships with mental health agencies, and it's the best intent, but sometimes, say, you have a third party. They come in, they have a caseload, they pull out the students, and then they unpack and trigger all of these social emotional things that are heavy, and then they send them back in the classroom, and the teacher is left to deal with whatever they have unpacked in that 30, 40-minute window, but now the teacher has to deal with it throughout the rest of the day, that school day. So this session was really eye-opening. Again, I have the privilege of experiencing that on a day-to-day basis because I am in the classroom, but I think as a trustee, not only here but across the state, being mindful, because we mean well when we have those partnerships, right? But also just making sure that teachers and admin are having buy-in and having conversations about what those partnerships look like and the dynamic that that they take, so that they are helpful and not harmful, because sometimes that can really throw things off when it means well, but if it's not in alignment with what's needed in the classroom, then it can actually be harmful. And then also it was such a delight to hear Alex Sheen. I don't know if anyone has ever heard his movement, Because I Said I Would. It's a social movement centered around promises made and promises kept. And I think this is actually the best time to speak to that, considering passing the bond. We made a promise. We made a promise. And so we want to honor the promise that has been made, and just truly honoring your word. And this movement is about just the inspiration and how inspiring not only others, but especially young people, when you do keep true and hold true to your word. So those were the sessions I attended, and it was very meaningful for me. And again, the weather was beautiful, so it made it even more enjoyable. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your Master Diamond status. That is a huge achievement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other trustees? Any other board reports? I know that in his absence, Trustee Johnson also had a report prepared. He said he would report out at our study session. So thank you all for attending and being delegates on our behalf. It's always good to hear that you had some great takeaways and you achieved some milestones in learning. I know Trustee Joyce is up there as well with his status. So thank you both. Next call of business is our report of our student board representative, Cassidy Tomlinson. Cassidy.
Good evening to the Board of Trustees, representatives, students, staff, and parents. My name is Cassidy Tomlinson, and I am the new student board rep for University High School Academy. For the month of November, here are the events and special occurrences at the U this month. A canned food drive presented by Student Congress in partnership with Gleaners Food Bank. Our goal is to raise 1,000 canned goods to assist families during the holiday season. Non-perishable items and canned goods are only allowed for collection. This initiative runs from October 31st through the 18th of this month. For seniors, there will be special scholarship, college application, and FAFSA support seminars on Tuesday that fall on the 15th, 22nd, and 29th of this month. This will be held in classroom B103. A Wakanda Forever field trip at Imagine Royal Oak Movie Theater will be held this Friday. This event is for high school students, and your $20 fee will cover a popcorn, a drink, and bus transportation. From University, there are 7 individuals who were selected to be in the highly competitive program entitled Midnight Golf. These people include myself, Caden Chapman, Nia Stone, Joshua Smith, Olushanu O, Ramaya Bias, and Anthony Hardy. There were 4 football team players who played in the championship against Cass Technical High School from University. These students are Caden Chapman, Joshua Smith, Xavier Bowman, and Josiah Williams. Last month, the debate team won their tournament at Wayne State University against Loyola High School and Padre Pio High School. The students who won were sophomores Cedric Coburn and Tamila O on the varsity team. A knockerball tournament sponsored by the National Honor Society of Black Engineers will be held at the U on Friday the 18th of this month too. The cost is $5 for admission and $10 per game you play in. In closing, today our seniors have earned a total of $350,000 in scholarships, and the number is steady growing. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, Cassidy. Great report. I do have a question about the NESB event. When is that again?
The NESB event is the 18th on
Okay.
Friday.
Thank you. Trustees, any other questions for Cassidy this evening? Hearing none, thank you, Cassidy.
Thank you.
Public participation. If you wish to address the board regarding a school-related issue that has not been resolved by school administration, please submit a comment card immediately. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. As a matter of fairness, speakers with complaints against individuals are asked not to mention any persons by name. Complaints concerning employees pursuant to Board Policy 9130 should be brought to the attention of school principals or other administrators before coming to the Board of Education. Your cooperation is appreciated. Before I go forward, I think I did not really grasp the weight of what you just said. You said that you all had $350,000 in scholarships, and it's just November. I think that's impressive. So I know we clap, but it just registered for me. It's just November. We're not even halfway through. I can't wait to hear what you tell me after January. So congratulations to the seniors at UHSA.
For a moment.
Sure.
I think the principal, the leadership we have at university is amazing. Principal Wilkins is a great principal. He brought in Miss Lowry, who is a college success coach.
Yep.
So she helps us with scholarships and just deciphering where we want to go in the future, whether it's trade school, whether it's even a four-year university. So I think having that additional support is very necessary and helpful.
Thank you for that feedback. Do you have Nevaeh's report from Southfield A&T?
I don't.
Okay.
Sadly, I don't.
Sure. Okay. If you need to go home to get homework done, you're free to go.
I'm fine.
Okay. Another retained alum of Southfield Public Schools, and congratulations to Commissioner Yolanda Smith-Charles. Please take the podium.
President, which high school did she go to?
She went to the school that's located right there. She went to Southfield High School, home of the Blue Jays. She also went to Kennedy, and we are both Thompson Titans. So again, this is truly an alum. Thank you for that, Trustee Hicks.
Thank you. It's Mr. Hicks stepping on all kind of toes
you
today.
already know.
I was supposed to be saying that stuff myself. Where's my timer? 3 minutes, right? Okay, so greetings, everybody. Board, so good to see all of you. Don't get me misty in here, but you know, I spent some really good days and some tough days, as Trustee Smith-Thomas will share. Mr. Joyce, you know, I miss you all. My sister, my Thompson Titan sister, so good to see you leading in such a tremendous way, along with Mr. Hicks, who, you know, you came in as a noob, and now you're like a senior. So, AARP. And of course, congratulations on your reelection, Madam Secretary. Gonna be sorry to see you go, but I know where to find you. How about that? And Cassidy, congratulations on just being pretty amazing. All right, I'm Yolanda Smith-Charles. I'm your newly re-elected Oakland County Commissioner, representing the amazing people of Lathrop Village, all of Oak Park, now Royal Oak Township, and of course a portion of the city of Southfield, which I share with Janet Jackson, who's awesome as well. So certainly want to thank you all for that. And my time up here, I just wanted you to know that I was over at Thompson yesterday, getting out the vote, as they say, GOTV. And I went into the building because I like to go and ask the precinct, chairs, what's the count? That's my thing, I do that. And the lady told me, and I walked in the gymnasium, and I was just so overwhelmed with just pride and joy from where I came from and what I'm working on today. And I guess those rose-colored glasses fell off, board president, pretty quickly when I looked up and around at Thompson. I thought to myself, wow, it still looks just like it did in '94. And I'm sharing my age. That's like almost 30 years ago. I was, stomping around Thompson. And I think you went to Thompson. Didn't you go to Thompson? So, there's not a lot that has been improved there. And I just wanted to say to the community, thank you, thank you, thank you. If we want a world-class school district, we need world-class facilities. If we want our property values to be maintained, which is very important to me as a new realtor, we have to invest in our schools, and we have to invest because we have single-family homes all around Southfield that deserve people and families in them, Mr. Tabor. Shout out to Mr. Tabor. And so with my 47 seconds, I did want to mention, so thank you for the voters getting out the vote on the bond, but also letting you know that November 11th, Veterans Day, and November 24th, Thanksgiving Day, visitors who live in Oakland County can enjoy free daily park entry with access to natural areas. And anyone who knows me, I'm big on recreation, our parks. I've been fighting hard for that. So if you need information that I can't provide in 20 seconds, please go to oaklandcountyparks.com. You can find out more about the just getting into the parks for that occasion. But we're talking everything from Addison Oaks, Highland Oaks, Lion Oaks. If you've not been out to Lion Oaks, these are some amazing parks we have. And we're also bringing Southfield Oaks to a neighborhood near you, right off a beach. So with that, I will conclude. If you have any questions for me, I'll take them via email or text, or now, it depends. What you say?
I know normally we don't.
Right, normally we don't.
But if trustees, you do have any questions about anything that Commissioner Smith-Charles just stated, please go ahead.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Last summer, you had brought to us different employment opportunities and/or internships that the county had. Is there anything that we can do now to get that information out to students so that they can start getting prepared for those opportunities?
I don't have anything county-based, but our soon-to-be new U.S. House Representative, Rashida Tlaib, I believe I shared it with the board president and perhaps the superintendent, but there are fellowships for politically minded youth and young adults, 18 to 24. So there's information available about that I think is a great opportunity for some of our politically acumened young people. So if that's a thing, but certainly I'll keep you posted, Mr. Hicks. Thank you. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Commissioner. Congratulations again. Seeing no more public participation, report of the superintendent. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Board President. So under the report of the superintendent, we're going to begin with our student spotlight. And we have a lot of amazing students in our district. Many of them are also athletes. And as much as we recognize their academic achievements, we also want to acknowledge their athletic achievements and their competitive achievements. So tonight we want to focus on some of our teams. Now, ideally, we would love to have all of our athletes come in here and be recognized, but for the sake of space, as well as that they all should be home doing homework, we wanted to at least bring the coaches in so that you could hear from them about their young athletes and hear directly from them. So we'll begin with our Warriors tennis team. Mr. Tabor.
Hello, everybody. If you haven't figured it out, Yolanda was a former tennis player. If you want to know about how good she was, you can ask me about that afterward out here. Nice for the invitation to come here. I live in Southfield. I've taught in the Southfield schools for almost 30 years. This is my first invitation to a board meeting. Wow. And I thought, are they serious? They're inviting me to a board meeting after the millage election? I thought, that's pretty gutsy. It's going to be doom and gloom or happy. So I'm glad it passed, and I'm very excited. And I did notice there are 8 tennis courts to be made over there at the 12-mile campus. So I'm excited about that. Yes. So I will be very brief. I think my first tennis team was in '94. I went to the school, that has the Blue Jays. I didn't go there. I coached there. Okay, so I see you guys have that little rivalry going, but we're going to leave it at that. That was back in '94, and I've had some great teams over the years. I really have. When Serena and Venus came out, you would not believe how many parents brought their 14-year-olds that had never touched a racket and said, "Here, coach them up." So those were some fun times. But this year's team was not one of those great teams. So the pandemic, it was tough. For the kids to come back, and we're an outdoor sport, and we had all kind of rules too. Like we actually put Southfield on the tennis balls, and when we switched, and we only served the balls that were from Southfield, and Ferndale only served their balls. We had all kind of rules. I know every sport kind of had to deal with that. So last year in tennis, you probably don't know a lot about high school tennis, but you play 4 singles, 4 doubles. You got to win, 5 to win the match, so you can have anywhere from 4 to 12 and more kids on a team. So, last year we had about 8 to 10. I think I ended up with 10. I was scrapping to get kids. I no longer teach at the high school. I'm over at Kennedy Learning Center, which I love. Some of you have stopped by there. So I have people trying to recruit players. But this year we had 10 players. We have my best player, and I'm going to give him a lot of accolades. His name is Dayton Page. And he's a university kid. And when he came as a freshman, he had some lessons and played tennis, but his parents and himself, they were committed, and he ended up being all-league all 3 years, and again, this year he was all-league. What a great kid. I mean, he's just so, my team was not that great, but I will say this, and Coach Marshall, you'll be happy to know this, one of our lone victories was over Cass Tech. So the technicians, which is actually, it's one of my favorite matches because when we go play and we go out to Belle Isle, and it was a beautiful day and we won, so that made it even sweeter. So anyway, that's the report. Tennis, we keep it going. It's some of the minor sports at A&T we have struggled to get numbers, but the kids that I coach, teach them those skills. There's a small network in tennis, kids at the Civic Center, and we try to keep that thing going. So that's about all I have to say. If you have a question, I'll take it. But thank you for the opportunity. The tennis is still going, and we're looking forward to them new courts.
Awesome. Coach Tabor, I would like to say thank you for coming and accepting the invitation. We will see you back here again.
Okay.
For sure. And I just want everyone to know that when you walk into Kennedy, Coach Tabor might as well be a mascot. I mean, he is literally so engaged. When you walk past that gym, those children are active. I visited Kennedy quite a bit, and my first time going, he was the first person that Dr. Stark said I needed to meet. Just speaking on Dayton Page, it's so funny. Dayton Page is also the young man who told me, his mother said, and I've known them for quite a while, his mom said, Dayton can't come see the vice president. He has a major tennis game. And she said, Dayton can't miss tennis. He's not going to. That's how committed he was. It wasn't until the vice president's chief of staff called Mr. Jackson and said she really wants Dayton Page there, that he rearranged his schedule and he made it happen. And I think that's just a testament to what you're doing, our kids' dedication and commitment. So congratulations to your team, and thank you for your leadership for so long. Clearly, if Yolanda was on your team, you've been dedicated to this for a long time, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome. I'm going to put a plug in for the we're bringing back the unified sports too, and
Oh,
the unified
nice.
basketball.
That's cool.
So we're going to have, I think, 4 or 5 home games. Mr. Woodson and I have been working the schedule, so I would invite you to come to that. If you've never been to a unified game,
Yeah,
they're
they're
between the
cool.
JV and the varsity. They're awesome.
Yes.
So try to get out to come to one of those.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Coach. Next, we will have our Warrior volleyball team. And for full disclosure, my daughter is a former Warrior volleyball player.
It's always good to find more volleyball players in the community. Good evening. My name is Michael Armstrong. This is my second year doing the varsity volleyball team. I'm going to touch on the pandemic just real quick. 3 years ago, the volleyball season was completely canceled. So it was kind of tough to get a bunch of girls to come back out to play after having so much time away from the game. Last year, we started this season, our first 2 matches, we weren't allowed to have any fans in the building, in the gym at all. So it was just the other team and us, and it was really weird to be able to play a match against another school with nobody to cheer us on. This year, quite different. I had 9 seniors this year on the team, which is more than I usually have. We ended up going undefeated in our division. We knocked off Ferndale. They've won the division the last 4 or 5 years, so we were the team to beat, and I told the girls from the beginning I knew the talent that we had, that if they put it together, they could do that. We went, beat Ypsilanti, took care of our division. We lost both times to Waterford, Kettering, and Mott last year, and we beat them this year in some tough matches. Ran into some tough team in the districts, and we got knocked out. But a couple of my seniors definitely couldn't make it there without them. We had a couple of juniors to help, but having a setter for 2 years who knew how to handle the ball and get the ball to everybody, Sydney Moore, Germany Antwine as a hitter, Lauren Tellis and Ariana White played club ball just to get better. Neither one of them played much the year before, minimal playing time, and they were my starting middles. So they really dedicated themselves. It'll be awfully tough next year. We've got a lot of young kids now. Graduating 9 seniors makes it awfully tough, to especially fill the roles. But it was, I knew coming in this year was going to be a lot of fun. And it definitely had its ups and downs. If you'd seen any of the matches at times, you probably saw me jumping around on the sidelines with the ball. It was that exciting. It was so much fun this year. So, but thank you for the invite as well. Something I'm not used to doing.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And as a former Charger volleyball player, I can say that Coach Armstrong's girls look amazing. Me and Trustee Hicks got the opportunity to sit and watch you guys, and it was a great game. You've done amazing with those young ladies, and they should be proud. So thank you for coming. You're welcome.
Next up is our debate team. And let's see, I have a note here from Mr. Menendeo. In the 2021-2022 season, a pair of seniors who have graduated won the Detroit Urban Debate League Championship at the varsity level. They are Adrian Edwards and Liam Teasdale. By winning this championship, Adrian and Liam qualified for the National Association of Urban Debate League's national tournament, where they finished 12th of more than 60 teams. I believe Adrian is attending U of M, and Liam is a JV debater at Wayne State. This season, a pair of sophomores, Cedric Coburn and Tamolia, I am going to tear up this last name, and I apologize up front, Olorunsola, won tournament number 2 of the Detroit Urban Debate League's 2022-2023 season at the varsity level. This was the first time they competed at the varsity level, and that is from Mr. Menendeo, who is the coach and also a teacher at University High School Academy. Congratulations to them. And the last team that we want to highlight is our Warriors football team, led by the Oakland County Coach of the Year, in case nobody knows that, Mr. Aaron Marshall. So we will ask him to come to the podium.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much to our Board of Education, Dr. Green in her absence, and Chief Jackson, and the whole Southfield community. We were 2-7 last year. It was my first year as head coach, and there needed to be a lot of, as we call it in football, like culture setting, right? We had to kind of change the culture of the program. And what words can never express is how hard these young men worked. The things we asked them to do to experience the success that they experienced this year, like we really can't explain it. It's something you just have to be a part of and you have to see. To ask a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid to do the things we asked them to do and the sacrifices and dedication that they made to do it, like I'm so honored to be their coach, right? I get the award for Coach of the Year, but only if you knew that these young men deserve every single piece of credit that I ever would get. My coaching staff, we sacrifice times from our family. The young man sacrificed times from their family. On top of, we have a GPA requirement. Our team GPA is what by far I'm most proud of. After the first card marking, it was 3.4. But we preach those things go hand in hand, right? You can't be great at one thing and not great at another thing, right? So again, it's the buy-in that they've taken from myself and the coaching staff. It's the leadership from my coaching staff and our seniors, that kind of catapulted us to where we were as far as winning the OAA white division, being undefeated in our division, going 7-2 in the regular season. And in the words of, I don't know if you all heard Joshua Smith speak, opened up and introduced the vice president. He plays for me. We call him Preach, right? So if I say Preach, that's what I'm talking about. He's really a youth pastor at his church. But when we were sitting there watching the selection show on Sunday to see who we play first round of the playoffs, he came in a suit because he had just left church. And he said, Coach Marshall, I said, what's up, Preach? He said, man, it just hit me. I'm driving over here, and the Lord told me to tell you, won't he make it a complete 180 turnaround? Last year we was 2-7. This year we was 7-2. He said, if you think that was by mistake, Coach Marshall, you better get on your knees and thank God and shout. And so I'm like and so I said, I preached. I said, you're right. I mean, and all night, all I could do was think about what he said. I mean, like, that young man said something to me. He was like, it was on my heart driving over here. And I said, Preach, you're amazing. So, but those are the kind of young men we have on our team. And that's why we're, been able to be successful this year. I'm really excited. Out of 22 starters, we're bringing back 16. Right? So I'm very excited for the future. And again, I want to say thank you for the support because a lot goes into this, as you all know. No matter what we do in life, no matter what you do, somebody is supporting you somewhere, right? So the things that I asked our athletic director for, which I want to give a huge shout out to Mark Woodson and his team because they don't tell me no. Mark literally says, Aaron, we'll find a way. Shout out to Miss Venable. She's just, Aaron, we'll find a way. I want to do this. Can we do this? Our boys deserve, Aaron, we'll find a way, right? It's never a no, it's we'll figure it out. And I'm really blessed and grateful for everybody for those answers and for that feedback that they give us and for the support of the community. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Marshall, I can't let this go. I'm so proud of you because I remember Coach Marshall as a first grader.
I'm sorry. I went to Adler Elementary, Eagles. And then I'm a Bernie Bobcat after that. Okay, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he, as a first grader, to see him now as a coach and getting an award like this, it's just so amazing because I'm telling you, at first grade, he looked the same way. He's got a baby face. I mean, he looks the same, And to see him walk out the classroom every evening, afternoon, for dismissal, and to see him now, it just does me proud. I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you.
And we saw each other voting yesterday.
Yes.
We both voted at the same time, and I was pulling his leg and talking to him. I said, I hope you don't mind that I share that with everybody. He told me, no. so I'm just going to let you know every time I see you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Board President. Well, first I want to say thank you to Mr. Tabor. Well, thank you for being a teacher to my son as well. Mr. Armstrong.
Yes.
Mr. Marshall. Thank you. You all have me reflecting back to some of my old coaches, Coach Fletcher, Coach Bean, Coach Watson, Coach Eschman, which James and I were on a track team. I know it don't look like it now, but we were on the track team, state champs, 2 years in a row, by the way.
I see it. I see it.
Well, anyway, but the real point of me bringing that up is that I remember how much those coaches and these coaches invest in our students, and it's a labor of love. And I just wish I knew back then all the things that they instilled in us, the discipline, the being on time, the consequences when you don't do what you're supposed to do, things off the field that help on the field, things that complement what we're teaching in the classroom. So, on behalf of your students that you've poured into, I'm sure that they thank you as I reflect on my coaches and appreciate all that you do and all the other coaches who are investing in our students, because you spend a lot of time that you take away from your families and your home to help build solid students. And sincerely and humbly, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thank you.
So I think that I heard Coach mention culture, and I just wanted to point out that when I lifted this to some trustees to say, hey, I think it's time that we start bringing coaches to the forefront, because you're extended family to these kids, period. These kids get to school at 7, they stay with you sometime until 7, and you're driving them to be better. So when we talk about culture, there needs to be a culture of appreciation and recognition that happens as well. I don't want you to think that anything that you've done thus far has been unnoticed. I think it's clear that you're making a difference, and we appreciate you. I spoke with a few of the trustees, as well as Mr. Jackson and Dr. Green. We are going to do something for each of your players. They will receive something fun on the district, and we will be in touch with you all just to show recognition that we're proud of them, and thank you all for giving us this service and giving us this chance to have this pride outside of just the academics and give them an outlet, because these kids need it. So thank you again. We really respect what you do.
Board President, if I may. So with everything that has been said, there's one little gap that I don't know how we should get it filled, but there are a lot of parents that are in elementary schools, middle schools, trying to figure out what all do we offer. All of these programs, all of these sports that we offer. I don't know how we can get this spotlight as I look over at Ms. Cash. We're going to figure out how to get this spotlighted so that we can retain our students who are interested in being athletes here and continue their education in Southfield, because we are good. And all of my folks around us who have gone through your programs, we are still delivering a great product. And I think there's a gap that needs to be filled, and I'm going to work on that with our board. And thank you so much for all that you all do.
All right. The next spotlight we want to do is actually on one of our schools. And so we want to, for this meeting, we want to shine a spotlight on probably one of the most amazing middle schools that I've ever had the opportunity to know. And oh wait, I was a student there. Oh my God, I was a Levy Jaguar. So at this point, I would like to welcome to the podium Principal Middle School.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for speaking the truth. Well, good evening, Southfield Public Schools Board, and Mr. Jackson, our Chief of Staff, community members, and staff. Thank you for this opportunity. We will not be before you long. I know everyone's looking at the time. I've done a few of these, so we're going to stick to the agenda. But I do appreciate, and I'm excited to present, as always, all the wonderful things, some of the wonderful things that we're doing at Levy Middle School. We do not have enough time tonight. We would be here all night if we talked about everything that we were doing. So I invite you all to come over to visit our school to see all those extra things that we are doing that's not mentioned here this evening. So this is our agenda for this evening. First, we're going to just give you a few information about the administrative team here. We know we have some new board members. We have some new board members that are coming in, and we just want to give you an overview of who we are and what we mean to our school and our team. Then we use the letters. We will use the letters and our school mascot to provide an overview of what we're doing to increase student, staff, and school success, which includes, and I'm sorry, I flipped too fast, all things academic, glows and grows, system and policies, team accountability, power of retaining, and soaring high. So again, I am the proud principal of Levy Middle School. I have 13 years of being a general education teacher, 6 years as a special ed teacher, and 9 years as an administrator. I've taught at the elementary, middle, and high school, and I've been an administrator at the high school level and middle school level.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is James Miller, and I'm the proud assistant principal at Levy Middle School. I have just about 25 years of general education, 7 years as a dean of culture, 10 years as an administrator, been an instructional coach, educational consultant, and it ranged from elementary, middle, to high school.
Good evening. Thank you all for having us. My name is Joel Blankenship. I have 28 years of general education, 14 as a dean of culture, where I'm a coordinator of culture, diversity, and inclusion at Levy Middle School right now. 28 years as a head football coach, and Aaron Marshall is a great friend of mine and a little brother, and I'm very proud of him and what he's done here at Southfield High School. So congratulations to them, and thank you.
To stop you for 1 second because you skipped something, and I think it's very important.
Yes.
Show the excellence that is Southfield Public Schools, so you can't get away that quick. You have something very important coming up in June. It happened in June.
Yes.
So you want to tell us about it?
Yes, I was just recently selected as the Michigan High School Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Just recently in June. Thank you.
Thank you, President Bland, for lifting that. He tried to skip that last line.
He tried it.
I told him, we were talking about all the things, and just to share with the community the wealth of knowledge that we have as an administrative team is important. So thank you for lifting that. So first, we have jewel. What is a jewel? A jewel is literally a gem, figuratively the best, most spectacular part of a thing. And that's exactly what we are at Levy. We are the only traditional middle school in the district, meaning that we only have grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. We have a STEAM program within our school that's a phenomenal and is growing as we speak, because we now offer that program to all of our students. We have transforming class offerings, and we'll get into that. I won't touch on that because that is, Mr. Miller's going to cover that. But we have really thought outside the box, our team, of what can we offer our students, again, to bring and attract students to our schools. Special education programs. We have a plethora of special education programs offered in our school, and again, we will touch on that a little later in the presentation. But our STEAM program is very unique because we have classes, advanced classes for our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We also, again, have a STEM class that is offered. It was only offered for our 8th graders, but now we're offering that to our 6th and 7th and 8th graders to attract more students to our school. Our students take coding, robotics, intensive science, art, math, ELA, and social studies. We also have, 2 years ago, we started our robotics team, the DigiJags. When we look at our support service, and the reason that we wanted to highlight this is because we have an awesome support service team at Levy. We have classes with students with autism, cognitively impaired, learning disabilities. Our paraprofessionals, I cannot say enough about our paraprofessionals. They have stepped up because, as we all know, we have a teacher shortage, not just in Southfield, throughout the country. So we have paraprofessionals that are lead teachers. We have an awesome social worker that just joined our team, and we also have an awesome speech pathologist. And our counselor.
All right, so moving right along with our gems. Before I actually go into literature through music, I do want to mention that I'm very proud to serve as the assistant principal at Levy Middle School with Sonia Jackson and also Joe Blankenship. I'm the newbie on the team. I just started in August. So really, they have really laid out a positive culture at Levy Middle School, and I'm just honored to be presenting with them. All right, so literature through music. I think we can all agree that we all learned our ABCs through a song. So I think it is very important that we understand the connection between music, reading, and language development. So we are very proud this year. We have explored our music through literacy program, and one of our teacher, Ms. Klein, she has done an excellent job with working with our students so they can enjoy music, but also engage our students in helping them improve in their reading scores. Research have showed that music will help improve your speech and also reading. So this kind of goes back to, I'm dating myself a little bit, waking up Saturday morning with Schoolhouse Rock, Conjunction Junction. All right, everyone remembers that, and it stayed in my head for over 40 years. So once again, it proves on how important literature is and how we should learn through music. So hopefully the district can explore this throughout the entire district. Then also critical thinking. This is another class of ours at Levy Middle School, and it's taught by Mr. Mason. And he has done an excellent job. So as it relates to critical thinking, this class gives our students the ability to engage in independent thinking. So they will become, or they have started becoming active learners and not just the passive recipient of information. So he has taught this class by using chess challenge, escape rooms, weekly student debates, and then also analyzing lyrics. So what I once again think is very important when you think about the critical aspect of individuals can really write lyrics to have you really think and paint a picture of what's going on in the world and society, and then how students can reflect on that. All right, so our alliances, these are our partnerships. We have a plethora of individuals that have helped our school, have donated to our school. As you can see, some that's coming on the screen now. I'm just going to go over a few. So if you think about University of Michigan program, nutritional program, which also I think is very important. So I use the phrase health is wealth. I know our young people talk a lot about being wealthy, but I think sometimes we forget the importance of health is wealth, and health comes first. So this will start in January. Also, Beat the Streets. I don't know if some of you all are familiar with the play Beat the Streets. So they're I want to say in December they are having the play. I think last year they had it via Zoom or online, so now it's back face-to-face. And then Beat the Streets is a play that's going to help our students understand the importance of self-discipline, making positive choices, and how they should just go about their lives and not being worried about what other people feel about them, but just having those high spirits about how they feel about themselves. Michigan Credit Union is another partnership of ours to help our students understand the importance of financial literacy. All right, so our glowing attributes. So we used to frame, or the phrase, glows and grows. So yes, we have some things that we are glowing about, but then we also understand some things that we need to grow in certain areas as well. But some glows that I want to mention is we have academic and behavioral inventions. So like Title I, enrichment classes, restorative practices, Levy 360, home visits. I wasn't part of this team during the time where they were going on their home visits, but we understand the home visits are very important, especially during the pandemic.
I'll continue and piggyback on Mr. Miller. And speaking of the home visits and the different factors and things that we need to do during the time of the pandemic, and how important the social emotional factors played for all of us involved because of the pandemic, of course. We have a multi-tier system of supports at Levy that helped us a lot during this period and continue to do so. The big one that we're using right now is through our Inner Explorer, which is from the district. It's class mediation. We probably don't know how important it is for us to be able to use some meditation time for us to think and spend some time with our thoughts before we begin our day even. I'm learning how important it is not just to jump up out the bed anymore, and how important it is that you take some time and think, and take some time and gather your thoughts before you continue to move. And we're teaching our young people how important that is. I like to give Mr. McEvans a lot of credit. He's actually using that program before he gets started with his gym classes every day. And our young people are glowing and blossoming beautifully because of it. And I think it's helping them be a little bit calmer, if I can say so myself. Another factor and another part of the social-emotional spectrum that we use is restorative practices. Our young people make mistakes. There are things that they go through and things that they have to deal with throughout the school day where they have to interact with each other and have to deal with each other. And we are using restorative practices to make sure they're able to do it in a positive way. For example, when things do happen between them, they discuss it and then document exactly what they did and the mistakes that they made. And in doing so, they think about what were they thinking at that time, and as well as what have they thought about since that particular thing happened to them. And to go along with that, who has it impacted and affected during that time. In other words, you don't just get to be mad and I'm sorry. It's not enough. You get a chance to reflect. You get a chance to have an idea of why you did what you did, who was impacted by what you did, and what you need to do to make it better going forward. So we're teaching our young people that every day at Levy, and it's working really well for us and has for the last few years. While we're working on that restorative practice piece. Gender empowerment meetings. I have the pleasure, as Mr. Miller said, he's the newbie, but he's come on just so positively and so great for us. A program that he actually brought to Levy, where we actually meet with our young men every Friday, 8th hour, and we have discussions about their lives and their culture and the direction in which they're going. And it's so important, as you see up there, it says student voice. For them to have some autonomy and for them to have a voice is so important at this time in their lives, especially at the ages they are from 11, some 10 to 13, even 14 years old, to be able to explain to us even how they feel and even talk to their peers about how they feel. And so we do that for about an hour, again, every week, different grade periods per week, where we're really just building relationships with our kids, and they're building relationships with us and gaining that trust with us as men and them as young men. And we also have our young ladies who are involved in that program as well, where we have teachers and administrators involved in supporting our young ladies with that as well. The last piece of it is the relationship part, and there's nothing more important than that, than building and developing the relationships that you have to build and develop with our young people. And it happens with trust, and you're able to do it with trust and with time and the commitment that you spend with them. And us being together during that empowerment time is just another way, as opposed to us always being seen as the administrator, as Mr. Blankenship, as Mr. Miller, as Ms. Jackson. But you're a human being to them when it's just us in that cafeteria having normal life conversations. And the relationships that you're able to build through trust are way bigger than the relationships that we build as an administrator. It's a lot different for them, and it's a lot more meaningful for them. I remember just most recently our conversation that we talked about with our young men about music, and we talked about how important music has been to our culture and some of the different nuances that and how it's affected us negatively that they didn't necessarily see, with the things that they listened to and the things that we even listened to growing up. But it was a really good conversation that we had. But that's a part of building relationships. That's a part of them getting to know us a little bit in a different kind of way. When we say Tupac or we say Biggie Smalls, and they look at us like, man, you know who Tupac is and you know who Biggie Smalls is? Yeah, we actually listened to that growing up. So, that's a relationship, barrier for us to be able to come together and combine with. And something that's even, more important, Mr. Miller brought up for us with the home visits. During the pandemic and during that time, it definitely wasn't something that I planned on. I don't think Ms. Jackson planned on it either. But there's something very important about home visits and the impact that it was able to have on some of our students and some of our parents during that time. Again, the trust factor is mentioned here. It says building trust in community. It's just getting closer and learning how to know that someone is coming into your home, and they're not coming into your home because they're judging you. They're coming into your home because they care. And we were coming into those homes because we were concerned about what was going on with a particular child or that particular child and the parents because of what was going on in their lives. Maybe their grades were dropping. There's one particular kid who I believe is an A&T kid now. He's a ninth grader. His dad passed during the pandemic. He's failing all his classes. And, during that time, we're working from home. Ms. Jackson said, Mr. Blankenship, we need to go over to this home. We need to go and talk to this young man and his mom. And mom didn't have the answer. She didn't know what to do. But it seemed to help that we just were showing up. And you can't just show up once. You have to be consistent in what you're doing. And that is the connection, the trust that's needed for you and those parents and those children to be able to know that you're really there. And you're not judging. You're not coming to see what kind of parent they're being. You're not coming to see how clean their house is. You're not coming to see anything except for what can we do to be a support system for them. And again, myself, Ms. Jackson, Mr. Allen as well was a part of that. And during that time, yes, we addressed academics. And yes, we did address the social emotional issues and factors that happened with that particular child and that parent. And then obviously the student success was something that was important to us as well. But more important than anything was the relationship and the community that we were building with ourselves as Levy Middle School employees and people who care about our students and our families, and us knowing that they can trust us. The 4 non-negotiable core practices and things that I did mention, there are factors involved in that. Obviously, they're voluntary visits, as you guys can see here. It's not something you have to do. It's something that we chose to do. So obviously it's something that was volunteered during that particular time and still is today. Absolutely, we were trained. Staff are trained for that. We had to actually have development programs and teaching so to help us to be able to go in with the right ideas, because you would have parents who did and were concerned about why you were coming to their home. People are not comfortable with you just coming to their home. So that was important. We share hopes and dreams. We went there with the purpose. We went to these homes with the mindset and knowing that we want to make your child a better child. We want to make the relationship with you and your child even better, and even make the academic factors even more important for you as well. And then the last part of it, the staff going in pairs, and then the factor of reflecting. Of course, we never went alone. I never went alone. Ms. Jackson never went alone. We always went together because that's always safe. These days and times are different. We all know that. I don't have to go into that. But at the same time, we always would go back to, there was never an issue or never a time where we went to a parent and we didn't go back to see that parent just to reflect, just to see and make sure that things are getting a little bit better somehow, some way. And it was really, really nice to see that kid in Levy the other day. And he was helping out Mr. Smith and the underclassmen. And his name is Michael. And it was so nice to see him. He had a little mustache and he was clean cut and, he was doing well. And that's not the kid that we saw when we went to go see him during the pandemic. He was broken down. He was hurting. and he had lost his dad, and we were just trying to be a support system for him. So to see that he's recovered some is just shows that the reflecting part had some impact. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know the time is ticking, but we do want to share some very important information because, again, it's all about the SEL, the social emotional piece. And Navigate 360 is a program that the district is using. It's district-wide, but I have to say that Levy was the first school to use this program. And we've been using it for 4 years, and it's called Levy 360 because it is for our school. But Navigate 360, it touches on SEL, the social emotional piece, restorative practices, and it is through Michigan Virtual. They provided the program for all schools during COVID for free because, again, it's a restorative program, restorative practice program. So there was no restoring during COVID, right? So they offered it, and they received a grant from the state where they offered it for free for all the schools in the state of Michigan. But with Levy 360, what changed the culture in our building was that, again, as Mr. Blankenship said, students mess up, but we have high expectations for all of our students. With Levy 360, when a student receives a detention or it could be an in-school suspension, they have to do modules. They have to talk about, they look at a video about the behaviors, then they have to answer questions, then they have to do a reflection. So we've been doing this for 4 years. And because our program with the data show that detentions, we were, a representative from Michigan Virtual reached out to the Levy team to present at a conference, a virtual conference, MASSP, Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals, and that's a huge deal. We could not do it in person because Mr. Blankenship was coaching. So we had to do the virtual option, but they would not let us say no because I said no. I said, we have a lot going on. And she said, please, because you all have the data, you've been using the program with fidelity, and we would love to hear. We need to let other schools in Michigan know what Levy is doing. So we had an opportunity to do that October the 10th. Also, our staff, we have one of the best staff in the state of Michigan. So we have staff members, just one yesterday, two. One is retiring this year, and she presented yesterday for the district PD. It is always important that we're all growing professionally and also sharing knowledge like we're doing here this evening about what we're doing. So I do want to highlight my staff. They really push us. They always come, can we do this? Let's do this. Can we do this? And it's all focused around what is best for kids, what is best for our scholars, and we're looking at the whole child, as Mr. Blankenship mentioned with MTSS. It's the whole child where we're addressing emotional, social, academics. So we're constantly thinking of that as a team, and also making sure that we're growing professionally. Unity. Unity is the harmony and agreement of unification. These are the 3 attributes that we lead by every day, and that's why I invite everyone to come to Levy. Love, learn, and lead. 3 things I promise you will see if you came to Levy. We were talking and we were sharing in the hall. We were right before the meeting. We talk as an administrative team because we meet every week, every Monday, our BNT meetings, building network team meetings, and we say, you know what, we have some awesome kids this year. And it's because, again, in this presentation, we have spent a lot of time with loving on our kids, leading them, and also coaching them to learn. It's amazing. I invite you, I promise you, what I'm saying and what we're saying here tonight, you will see it. It's evidence in our building. But we cannot do it without our awesome teachers, with our awesome support teams, even our administrative assistants in the office. And this is who we are. Love, learn, and lead. But there's also accountability. Accountability as it relates to administrators, students, staff, and parents. And what does that accountability look like? For us as administrators, making sure that we, do walkthroughs in classrooms, make sure scholars are learning, make sure that we provide, as building leaders, a safe learning environment for all of our students and staff. A welcoming environment when our parents come. all of those play a huge factor in running a successful building. But there is, we have all our dances. If you follow us on Instagram, hopefully you will following us on Instagram. Because we are doing a lot at Levy, but there still has to be accountability as it relates to what our scholars are doing and what our teachers are doing and holding them accountable. And when we talk about retention is huge. Retention is the act of retaining. And then the way that we do that is, and I think this is your slide. The way that we do that is, I'm just talking away, is that we give our teachers a voice and choice. Teachers are always at the table. We make any decisions, any building-related decisions at Levy. Seats at the table. As always, if we have our every BNT meeting, our building network team meeting, we have teachers that are at the table. We have our custodian. We have our security. Everyone is a part of those conversations. And also, we always give out feedback surveys. Like even for the beginning of the school year, we sent out a survey to ask staff, what professional development do you need? What do you need? So we always address that as well. Giving them a collaborative space like PLCs. Planning time, by grade level, they all have a time off to plan. And also the emotional intelligence, knowing how, and is not knowing how you feel, but also respecting how others feel. And I think one of the trustees talked about that. It is so important. You know how they say, take care of yourselves? We have to take care of each other. And that is so important. But this is how we retain our staff. We go out of our way in showing our appreciation to staff. Showing our appreciation to our students, because we want students to talk about Levy, to say you need to come to Levy. And I will say, I won't mention names, we have a lot of celebrities that go to our school, and I'm serious when I say that. Like we have an NFL player, nephew goes to our school. We have someone that's, if you're familiar with the comedy show, Nick Cannon, Wildin' Out, they're honest on that show. We have, who am I missing? Detroit versus Everybody. Son goes to our school, so we've partnered with a lot, and I can go on and on. But again, these are 8th graders or 7th graders, and we have surveys that we give parents when they come, an entry survey and an exit survey, because we want to know, why did you pick Levy? And if you're leaving, we want to know, why are you leaving Levy? Because that's important. Again, all feedback, good or bad, is an opportunity for us to grow as a school. So I would give a survey, and the surveys that we've received so far, a lot of the parents said word of mouth. So that says that we're doing something right as a district, as a school, because by word of mouth, people are bringing their kids to Levy. And again, they're not all 6th graders. They're 7th graders and 8th graders. Go back. Soaring is to increase rapidly above the usual. That is what we strive to do. There are a lot of things that we need to improve on, as Mr. Miller stated. There's always room for growth, but we are soaring. One of the things that we're soaring with is our STEAM program. We have a phenomenal STEAM teacher, Ms. Gwilt. I mean, she is another one that pushes me. Ms. Jackson, can we do this? Can we do this? Our students have competed. Last year, they competed in the water robotics. Had never did that, and it's very, I was honored to be there to support them, but it was something that you think would be so easy is so hard. But our students, they did very well for their first competition right after COVID. So hats off to Ms. Gwilt and our robotics team. But we are always looking for, how can we continue to grow? How can we bring more students to our school? And with that is, what are we doing? So this is something that we strive on, and we say to our students, good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. And that is what we strive for, because even though we're doing a lot of great things, we know that there are some things that we still, we need to work on and grow. So this is just Levy, and I encourage you all to, this is just a little pictures. We didn't want to, flood the presentation with pictures, but these are some of the things that are posted. We have a phenomenal teacher, Ms. Southfield, that is doing our Instagram page. She's phenomenal. So this is our Spirit Day, International Day of the Girl Child. Another partnership we have, our Pink Out Day. Then we have our STEM robotics, as I mentioned up at the top, the water robotics. Our phenomenal choir is led by Ms. Wynn, who is a recording artist. And this is our STEM lab here at the bottom here. And then our fantastic band in the bottom corner. Last but not least, Beethoven. Another, I will say, something that we've done as the only school in the district. I know the district now, we have a therapy dog, but Levy is the only school in the district with Beethoven. And again, please come and visit. Let us know where you come, because he's not there every day, but he has changed the culture in our building. We have great students, but he has changed the culture with the teachers. Teachers that didn't even like dogs are saying, I want to go out and buy a dog now. And I'm come on in, Beethoven. Dr. Green asked, I wanted to surprise her, but then she had to leave. But let me say this, Miss Anderson is our school mom for Beethoven. Come on over, Beethoven. Pull this thing down, because some people are gonna be mad. Yeah, go blue. We had to, they won. We had to dress them in that. But I will say I want to thank the board and also Dr. Green for approving Levy to have a therapy dog, because again, he has been therapy for everyone. So he has one certification to pass before he is truly a therapy dog. And I will say thank you to Ms. Anderson. She has been working day and night trying to make sure that he passed the certification. But I will say that it is well worth it. It is a lot of work. It's not as easy as we thought it would be, but it is a lot of work. But it is worth when you see, like when he came today and the students were like, Ms. Jackson, can I just pat him? Can I pat him? Can I pat him? So the students, I'm telling you, I made a call today because I make good calls as well. I called a parent where her son made a 363-degree turnaround. And she just said, thank you so much, Ms. Jackson, for calling, because I thought this was going to be a bad call. But we do things like that just, again, for the SEL. It is so important. It is so important that we continue to lift our students, lift our staff, lift our parents, because as Mr. Blankenship said about, and I won't talk about everything that he said about the home visits, they are very impactful, and they've been impactful. Just seeing the students strive, turn their grades around, turn their attitude about school, all of those things have been impactful. But what I will say is that Beethoven has been a blessing for our school, not only to our students, but also our lunch aides. They would bring Beethoven to the lunchroom, our security guard, our custodian. Everyone knows Beethoven. So thank you for having us this evening. Please follow us on Instagram. You will see a lot of the awesome things that we do on Instagram. Tell your friends. We are a middle school. If anyone's looking for a middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, please send them our way. Another thing I want to lift about our school, too, is that we're one floor. So we get kids that are in wheelchairs. We had a new student today, Monday. She's on a walker. So they selected us because she's on a walker. So please, just let everyone know that, Levy is an awesome school to come to. We strive. We make mistakes. I tell parents this. We're not perfect, but we strive for excellence every day. Right. Yeah, he usually would jump on me. See, he's trained. He's getting there. Because he would usually jump on me when he will see me. Yes, when he sees me, he usually would jump on me.
Trustees, do you have any questions?
Yeah, any questions?
for
I'm sorry. Are
Principal
there any
Jackson?
questions?
I would just like to say thank you to you and your team for everything that you've done. I did have the pleasure of meeting some of your students on the Halloween break. Excellent young men. They were really funny. We had a great time as they were trick-or-treating at my home. But it was a good experience, good conversation for these 8th graders. It was really cool. But thank you for all that you do and all the families that you touch.
I just wanted to say I got the chance to stop by yesterday, even though it was a PD day. I thought it was awesome that we chose to do their PD for their paras,
Yes.
which don't get the same exposure. And I thought when I left out the building, I went to make a call and have Mr. Jackson handle something. When I came back, there's Dr. Freeman helping him out. So it was just a really good feeling. That Levy had a packed house. I mean, it was full. They were engaged. I came back in and I had to interrupt, and they could care less. They just kept going, and I just thought, wow, this is awesome. Because they could have done it virtually, right?
Absolutely.
But chose to be in the school. And thank you, Dr. Freeman, for being over there and lending that support, and Ms. Jackson just for having the foresight to say, hey, let me do something for a group of people that doesn't often have the opportunity to have a whole professional development day for themselves.
Absolutely. And that is Ms. Anderson. She was one of the presenters yesterday.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, so she, again, being a special ed teacher, she saw the need, and she said, let's do this. And absolutely, I fully supported, our team fully supported her. And again, okay, and Miss Wynn, yes, Miss Wynn was also a presenter. Thank you, Stan, Miss Wynn. Miss Wynn is retiring, so for her to still want to participate, yes. Thank you, Mr. Blankenship. She was also a presenter because they saw the need that the paras needed some professional growth as well. Because again, that is key for our staff at Levy Middle School. All right, Beethoven. Yeah. Oh yes, and we do have something special. You know, whenever I come, I have something special for you guys because we appreciate the service. We appreciate your time. I know I sit on a school board. I didn't mention that. I do sit on a school board, so I know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and sometimes it can be a thankless job. So thank you all for all that you do for our school community. Those members that have come by and always lift us up and tell us what awesome things we're doing. It is very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Jackson and your team. There is no question that Levy is an amazing school. Have to just say that a few more times. Mm-hmm. Oh. Thank you. So next up on the agenda for the superintendent's report is the results of our mock elections. So we were contacted by the National Congress of Black Women, who have a mock election program that they administer through several schools. And so they reached out to us and asked us if we would like to participate. The board gave the direction to the administration to bring this in, and so this past Monday, we actually did an online platform, the exact same ballot, pretty much the exact same ballot that everybody in here saw and voted on yesterday. Our students were able to do an electronic version of that, our 6th through 12th graders. And so we have this evening, we have Ms. Diana Pegler from the National Congress of Black Women, who will go over the results of the mock election.
Good evening.
Which is also in the book for all the board members.
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Jackson said, I'm Diana Pegler. I'm with the National Congress of Black Women, Oakland County, and we've been doing this event since 2008. And unfortunately, we had to miss 2020 because of the pandemic. So this is the first time we've had the opportunity to actually do the mock election. And this was the first time we did it totally virtually. So that was an experience. We actually did not only Southfield, but we did Pontiac schools as well. And we hope that in 2024 presidential election, we'll be able to do many, many more schools. Just a comment on Levy School. One of the things that I know, not having children in the school district, but when you take a holistic approach, I think that it makes that person a lot better. It makes their learning experience a lot better, and they probably will result in much better grades as a result of it. So I was glad that I stayed and I was able to hear that presentation. And so mock election, that's another dimension for us in terms of civic responsibility with our students. And if you followed the results of the election yesterday, the real general election, you know that this was the biggest turnout ever. People more and more are recognizing that the right to vote is so important. And if we start with our young people at a young age and we start teaching lessons about civic responsibility, when their time comes to be a voter, they'll be ready and they'll be engaged and they'll want to participate. One of the things that we did, we asked the district to send home to the parents electronically, Know Your Michigan Voter Rights. And that document was intended for parents, friends, relatives to use for the election day yesterday. If they experienced any problems, there were phone numbers that they could call to get assistance. They learned a lot of the rules and regulations associated with the process of voting, just a one-page document, put it in your pocket. If you had a problem, you could refer to that particular document. So not only did we have a learning experience, I hope, with the students, but with the parents. And hopefully the students shared that with anybody they knew. In 2024, I hope we can be in person because there's nothing like being in person. We give the students I voted today stickers. They don't think it's a big deal until you skip one of them. And it's, I didn't get mine. And so we definitely recognize how important it is. We thank the board for your unanimous support of allowing us to do this event. We're happy to come back and teach some lessons, perhaps, as we prepare for the 2024 election. And we thank you so much. And the results. Typically what happens in terms of the results, the students vote very much like the adults, and that's exactly what happened. So you saw the Michigan results? That's how the students voted. So don't think that they don't hear and they don't see. They do, and they do pay attention. So thank you so much.
Bagler. And I don't know if I mentioned, we actually had 233 students that participated in the mock elections. And this was, and the way that we set it up, it was an online platform. The polls opened at, the virtual poll opened at 7 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m. on Monday, just like it did yesterday. And the students did it. They went on there and they voiced their, they let their voice be heard. And as Ms. Pagler said, they do listen. They listen to not only what they hear adults saying, they hear what their parents are saying, and they also have their own thoughts, and that was reflected in the election results. It's pretty impressive to see. All right, the next thing on the agenda is the organizational chart for the executive level of the district. That is in every board member's packet. That is something that we have been going through and updating as positions have changed and staff members have been added to the leadership chart. So in your packet, you do have an updated version of the organizational chart.
I have one ask, and this was something that I requested previously at the board table a few months ago. I just hope that the information on the org chart will be disseminated to our staff so that they understand how things are falling in line, and that would be my only feedback for this.
Yeah, it will also be added to the website.
Awesome.
We also have it on our website.
Thank you.
All right, and then the last item under the report of the superintendent are the results of the bond proposal. And if you aren't aware, we had a capital facilities bond proposal on the ballot
none of us slept, so y'all gotta excuse me.
And we are very grateful for the support of our community. We are proud to say that the bond proposal received 68% of the vote. So we felt the overwhelming support of both the Southfield and Lathrop Village community, and we are incredibly grateful. As most of you should be aware, this is the beginning of what will be viewed as one of the most transformational periods in Southfield Public Schools history. And the impact that these dollars will have on not only how we deliver instruction, but the environment in which we deliver it will be something that many generations of students will receive the benefits from. And the timeline for this is over, the whole evolution of this is over a 10-year period. So you're not gonna see, shovels in the ground tomorrow morning. But over the course of this time period, you will see work being done in our schools, updates, very important security upgrades, environmental controls. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this, in addition to actual physical structures that are remodeled or newly built. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this. We will be providing as much transparency as possible as it relates to how these dollars are spent and where we are along that process and that timeline. So we thank the community for your support. We ask you to continue to hold us accountable for the investment that you're making in our school district, and we will make sure that we provide you as many updates and as much information as possible so that you can follow us on this journey as we transform this district into what all of our students and staff deserve as a proper and incredible learning environment. All right? And with that, I turn it back over to the board president.
Action items, we have the consent agenda, approval of minutes for September 27th and October 18th. Trustees?
So, President, I move that we open and approve the consent agenda.
It's been properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none. Board Secretary, please call for the vote.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Trustee Hicks?
Yes.
Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Benison?
Yes.
For the record, Trustee Smith Thomas departed the meeting at 7:55. Myself, yes, unanimous.
Motion carried. Mr. Jackson, are you prepared to speak to anything in report 6121?
I am not.
Okay. Trustees, I would like to defer to you if you guys want to open. Yep.
Through the chair, board president, I move that we open and approve report 6121, talent management, personnel action report.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. As previously asked, our chief of staff will not be able to answer any questions at this time. If there is any discussion or any questions, please defer to the office of the superintendent. Board Secretary, please call for the vote.
Trustee Hicks?
Yes.
Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Benison?
Yes.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Myself, yes, unanimous.
Motion carried. Report 6124, Kennedy Learning Center, French Associates, Architectural and Engineering Service.
Yeah,
Is this
yeah,
Mrs. Wright?
Venable. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, Mrs. Wright?
That's right.
All right, good evening, Honorable Board and Community.
Good evening.
This evening's board agenda is an action item, and I'm glad Mr. Tabor is here and Dr. Freeman is here. It regards the Kennedy Learning Center and site improvements that are being proposed. The board agenda item specifically speaks to architectural design and engineering services for French and Associates. And it addresses an outstanding OCR case, or Office of Civil Rights case, in which we're seeking compliance. And it also involves site improvements that have been expressed by the staff there as needed and will be a tremendous benefit to the student population there. The intent of the engineering and design services will essentially allow us to replace the deteriorating concrete walks, replace barrier-free sidewalks and ramps that are currently out of compliance. We'll repave the parking lots west as well as north, restripe the parking lots, provide handicap-accessible parking lanes, as well as a new asphalt track in the south of the building, as well as a playground that will also be handicap and wheelchair accessible. And finally, replacement of the replacement of the signage that was essentially damaged during the repair of the water main break there earlier this, or late last year. So the proposed amount is not to exceed the engineering and architectural fee of $57,750. It includes for a land survey, as well as a title deed search and confirmation. It also includes reimbursables not to exceed $4,000. And contingencies are not built in this because the fees are actually firm. We don't expect to exceed those.
Where is this being funded?
This is from the capital fund.
Was us going for replacement of any of this stuff that we assess? Things that can be taken from.
Deferred. Yeah, this is actually this actually has another level of urgency, right? Because we need to comply with the OCR case. The OCR case, or the Office of Civil Rights case, was cited in 2016. The district at that time made numerous repairs and replacements in order to bring the district into compliance. But these items have been outstanding since, and we really need to do the work immediately. And actually, we have to respond by the 15th. And so I'm hoping to be able to say positively that we're on track for the work to begin next summer. Yes, sir.
Repository?
They are.
Okay.
We've already given them our student code of conduct so that they can go through that and provide us any revisions that need to be done. But yes, beyond that, absolutely.
Trustees, any other discussion?
Board President, I move that we open and approve Report 6121, switching to Thrune Policy Services.
Support.
It's been properly moved and supported. Board Secretary, please call for the vote.
Trustee Hicks?
Yes.
Trustee Joyce?
Yes.
Trustee Benison?
Yes.
Trustee Bland?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Motion carried. Public participation. If you wish to address the board regarding a school-related issue that has not yet been resolved by school administration, please submit a comment card immediately. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. As a matter of fairness, speakers with complaints against individuals are asked not to mention any person by name. Complaints concerning employees pursuant to Board Policy 9130 should be brought to the attention of school principals or other administrators before coming to the Board of Education. Your cooperation is appreciated. Do we have any comment cards? There is no public participation at this time. For the good of the order, trustees, Trustee Hicks.
Board President, I have a few quick items.
Sure.
One, we need to set a date for the superintendent evaluation. We need to set a date for the organizational meeting. Do we have a study session scheduled for the month of December? I'm asking all these things selfishly, so I'll know how to plan
Right.
for the next couple of weeks. Also, now that the bond has been successful, as Chief of Staff Jackson mentioned, are we going to have a priority planning session, maybe from the recommendations of administration on projects that are going to happen over that duration of that timeline?
Yeah.
You want me to finish reading or you want me to?
Yep, nope, keep going.
All right. Goal setting for superintendent goals for 23. I just think before the organizational meeting, if we kind of have an idea of goals that we are setting for her for next year, it may be good to have leading before we begin the new year. And will we receive an update on contracted services per my ask last month for janitorial, security, food service, transportation, any services that we contract on, so we know how, so we can get kind of a grade, how we feel things are going, opportunities for improvement, et cetera.
That's a lot.
I give you my paper, I wrote it all down.
Of course, Dr. Green had to leave untimely this evening, but the evaluation of the superintendent was on the deck. I think as we see there are no study sessions on the calendar for November or December because of where they fall with Thanksgiving and Christmas. That being said, that is a conversation that I believe as I send out board updates, we're going to have to look at who's going out of town, who's going to be here, but we do need a study session. As we spoke about previously, we wanted to get Barton Mallow, French and Associates in here to talk about the project management piece. That study session needed to happen, and I think it'll be a lengthy one, quite frankly, because we have a lot to discuss. So with that being said, I would just ask all of you to kind of decide how you want to play out this holiday season. I definitely think if November, which is coming to a quick close, is easier for momentum, considering we have it going right now, that would be my thought, that we try to have a study session in November. I would love to have one in December, but the 27th would be the natural progression, and that is literally in the heart of Christmas. Right. So I am going to send an email out asking for availability for November, because we would need to get in touch with Barton Mallow, French and Associates, and start getting that ball rolling. We also know that our superintendent won't be available, but we've had some conversations about the evaluation, and I think we can discuss those further at the study session. You had one more.
Priority planning?
We had goals and board retreat.
Yes.
So it's going to be so tight. First meeting of the new year is January 10th, which gives us literally like the 3rd or the 4th, which is right after the 1st, to get a board retreat in. That's what we're going to have to gun for. But it has been on my radar. I just want to be considerate of how people's time look. And as we know, board retreat and first meeting always fall right on my birthday. This year is no different.
Yeah, I bring that up more for our newer trustees, so they kind of get a cadence of beginning of the year activity.
And that is a conversation that I've had with our newest elected trustees, just to let them know that, hey, the beginning of the year is just going to be, it's going to take off. But I agree with you. We need to get some goals set, and we need to set that cadence. So trustees, please look forward to an email from me, and please consider what the rest of your November looks like for a study session. Trustees, anything else for the good of the order? I just had one hand, foot, and mouth disease is running rampant in our district. Please remind everybody to wash their hands. We're asking that our babies wear their masks again. When you go to the grocery store, you know, wipe it down. This is absolutely crazy. And I have a 9-year-old, so y'all know I'm a little shaky about all of this. She puts everything everywhere. But I just wanted to make the community aware that we have had some issues with parents sending ill children to school. Please err on the side of caution and keep your baby home if they show any signs of unhealthiness. And that would be the only thing I have for the good of the order. Future meetings, December 13th, Tuesday, regular board meeting. We'll probably announce a study session coming in November at the end of the month. And January 10th, 2023, Tuesday, first regular board meeting of the new year. Meeting is adjourned at 9:16.